Emmanuel Acho, on why Kevin Stefanski was deserving to be named Coach of the Year this season. This is from FS1's Speak.
We've never seen a team with 5 different starting quarterbacks win 11 games. Now, to Shady's point, voting occurred before the playoffs. If voting would have occurred after the playoffs, I believe in head-to-heads, I think that would have swayed several voters. But then the other thing I'm sitting here thinking about is, to me, in my mind, it is easier to win with a first-round pick at quarterback, rookie or not, than it is to win with Joe Flacco, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, P.J. Walker, Deshaun Watson, and whoever else that they started, because they started 5. So when I was thinking about it, I'm like, this dude won with 5 different QBs, and not only that, half your team got hurt. Nick Chubb, best running back in football, second best running back in football. Christian McCaffrey, I believe, has taken that throne. But up until 2 years ago, we would have said Nick Chubb, best running back in football, he gone. Treasure Quills, he gone. So what Kevin Stefanski did, and then last thing I'll say is this. Let's not act like the Cleveland Browns are a good organization. Let's not all of a sudden start rewriting history. The Browns are the Texans, if not worse. And I would say they're worse. So let's not start acting like what Stefanski did with the Browns is not just as impressive, because the Texans are bad and the Browns are historically bad. The Browns are just historically worse than the Texans.
Let's welcome in Mac Robinson from 92.3 The Fan. They're starting to get things right, but Mac, I said earlier, if you would have voted Dan Campbell, DeMeco Ryans, or Kevin Stefanski Coach of the Year, you couldn't really have argued, but the injuries making it to the playoffs were pretty impressive.
Yeah, and Dave, you're completely right. You know, when it comes to the injuries that piled up, you know, he mentioned it's not easy to win with, you know, Joe Flacco and all these guys. Yeah, C.J. Stroud was a number 2 pick in the draft last year. And there's a reason why he went that high. Meanwhile, you have P.J. Walker, who spent more time in the XFL and obviously had his accolades there, but had to go to the XFL before coming back to be a backup for Carolina and Chicago before coming to Cleveland. Dorian Thompson-Robinson went in the 5th round this past season as well. Again, very talented, but very raw prospect. And then also, you know, Joe Flacco, again, he was on his couch by the time that we got to Thanksgiving. He was able to share a Thanksgiving meal, basically, with his family before joining the Browns. And then, you know, you have Deshaun Watson obviously dealing with those injuries. And then, you know, Jeff Driscoll and the way that he played in Week 18, even though as bad as he played, he still got the backup gig over top of P.J. Walker. So, you know, seeing the level of quarterback play that this Browns team had to overcome and really deal with, Kevin Stefanski elevated those guys. And the way that this offensive talent really showed out, Amari Cooper having a historic day. You know, that was fantastic, as well as David Njoku really coming into his own. And that Emmanuel Acho at the end there, I thought was the point. I think he was trying to build it up a little bit more of the Browns have been bad historically. They haven't been bad in the past 5 years, I would say. I would say they've had, obviously, the turmoil with Dorsey. But since Andrew Berry and Stefanski have come in, they've really kind of set the tone for the rest of this franchise. And they've done a good job to set that tone. But on the opposite side of it, you know, I do think that this is an organization and this is a team that I think has really overcome a lot and really bonded well together through the Greenbrier trip, you know, through that West Coast swing in Denver and then LA, staying out there. I thought that this was really a masterclass by Stefanski to really put together all of these guys and really build an actual legitimate culture that isn't forced and isn't just a buzzword that you hear in a press conference.